Hey everybody, Manny Talaver here. We're now on day 9 of the 7-figure climb. Day 9 is my first official makeup day. I do apologize for yesterday. I think that in video 2 or 3, we talked about a lot of the health issues I'm having, and I'm having quite a few health issues right now. One of the health issues that I didn't even mention in all of those things that are going on is I'm in stage 3 of kidney failure, and I feel like I'm kind of moving towards stage 4, and it creates a lot of issues. And so I was beyond sick yesterday. Besides, everything else that's going on, I had a lot of problems, and I just couldn't get the video out. But today we are going to plow through. We're going to do 2 videos in a day. We're going to get caught up, and we're going to give you some great insights. And so do me a huge favor. If you get value from this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you can start getting notified every time we release a video, because within reason, we're dropping videos every single day on this channel. And once in a while, we're going to miss a day and you'll get 2 videos in a day. So what we're going to talk about right now is developing the $1 million mindset. I've been giving you all a lot of insights throughout the last 8 days. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go over some of these things, and we're going to put them in an order. And what you're going to see is you're going to see how cohesive all this is and what it all looks like and how you can develop the $1 million mindset that's going to take you to get to 7 figures. And so you need to become the person that you want to be. You're going to have to kill a lot of things around you. You're going to have to get rid of a lot of things. You're going to have to change your daily routine. You're going to have to change, how you eat, how you exercise. You're going to have to change everything. You're going to have to probably be obsessed. I don't believe you can do this with life, a work-life balance. Some people talk about work-life balance, but I can tell you most of the people who succeed and go on to make millions of dollars, they are literally obsessed. I can tell you, we talked about them. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, all of these people were really, really, really obsessed with what they were doing and what it amounts to. I can tell you again, I'm completely obsessed with this. I do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except when I'm sleeping. I get up, I sit at the computer, and I eat while I'm creating an outline, going through content to learn more about marketing. I obsess about this, and I have no work-life balance whatsoever, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And what you got to do is you got to say, for the next 120 days, we are going to be in launch mode. And what you want to think about, Harbecker explained it really good. It's one of the people I studied years and years and years ago. When you're wanting to get a rocket ship off the ground, it takes all of the energy that you can imagine. And then what happens is once you get it off the ground and once you're in the air, your work is done, and everything is now scaling and just getting those ads to work and things like that. And so you're going to spend a lot of time doing a lot of work. And then what's great about it is you're probably going to work 80 hours a week and make no money for a very long period of time. And then you're going to make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars working very little. That's the way it is. It's very opposite what people would think, but that's just the way it is. And so when we're talking about developing a $1 million mindset, like I said, you just need to really rearrange your life, get in launch mode, get focused on what you're doing. Now, the first 3 things you need to think about are vehicle, audience, and offer. Do you have a vehicle do you feel is going to get you to the $1 million? Do you have the thing that you're going to offer to a group of people that's going to cause them to give you the money? The first thing that you need to get really clear on is that vehicle. The next thing you need to be doing is building that audience. And while you're building that audience, you need to craft the offer, because these are the things that are going to get you to scale. Remember, we talked about this. You're going to put the offer in front of a group of people. You're going to get money from that group of people, and then you're going to take that money and you're going to scale that offer that is already working to the masses with ads, and that's how you're going to blow this thing up. And so you need to get clear on the money math. The money math is very simple. How many sales do you need to make $1 million? If you're selling something at $1,000, you need 1,000 buyers. At $2,000, you need 500 buyers. At $2,500, you need 400 buyers. At $5,000, you need 200 buyers. And at $10,000, you need 100 buyers. Now, at $500, you need 2,000 buyers. And I can tell you, it's going to be very difficult to get 2,000 buyers scaling ads because lead generation and conversion is very, very expensive. And what you got to figure is in a lot of cases, it's going to cost you $250 or $300 or maybe even $500 per buyer. That's what it's going to cost you to actually get this thing to scale to $1 million. And so it's very difficult at the $500 level. But I'm going to walk you through some things now because I hadn't talked about this earlier. And I just want you all to get clear on this. And so another reason we're going over all this is very simple. The more clear you are on the path, the less fear is going to affect you. Fear is what happens when you take your eyes off the ball. Fear is what happens when you don't know what to do next. But if you develop the $1 million mindset, you get your vehicle, audience, and offer right, you understand exactly how many sales you need to get to $1 million. What you do now is you start implementing that. And then, like I said, you become the person who's getting up every day and only focused on those things. And I can tell you, like I said, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, this is what they did for years and years and years. And I can tell you, your mindset's got to be that you're going to spend 120 days on this or whatever the number is. You're going to spend the amount of time that it takes you to get the rocket ship off the ground, to get altitude, to get to where you get the runway, right? You get the offer off the ground, and now you're making a lot of money and doing very, very little. And what you also need to get is to make $1 million, it's going to cost you anywhere from, let's say, $150,000 to $500,000. If you're doing really, really poorly, it's going to cost you 500 grand to get to the $1 million. But the good news is that if you do that twice, you spend $1 million on ads and you bring in $2 million in revenue, you still have the $1 million. It just takes more work. But what you've got to get is that you're not going to spend all of that money up front. And so that is the reason you need the vehicle, audience, and offer right so that you can launch this thing. You can launch a proven model to the group of people who are going to actually buy it. And so I'm going to give you another example of this so you really understand how all of this works. Movie producers spend millions and millions of dollars making a movie, and they don't have huge budgets to actually market that movie because they've already spent a lot of money making it. And then the other thing is they don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing because they don't have a proof of concept yet, which we're going to talk about in a minute. What they have is they have something that they need to market to the masses, but they're not going to spend $100 million marketing this movie of their own money. They're not going to do that. How this works, they do two different things. The first thing they have is they have an auction system. So first thing you got to get is how the movie industry works is very, very simple. Movie producers create movies. They distribute those movies. Those movies are distributed through theaters. Those theaters get half of the money, and the industry, the producers get the other half of the money. So if a movie does 500 million at the box office, that revenue split 50-50 between the theaters and the movie producers, and that's simply how that works. So they spend all of this money making the movie. The first thing they do, they don't run out and spend $50 million on ads. They go and get that money. They get that money from the movie theaters. And so what they do is they have an auction. And the 200 highest bidders will get the movie first, or the first 300 highest bidders. And that's how this thing works. And so a movie theater might bid $250,000 or $500,000 or $1 million, to be playing that movie the day that it comes out. So they'll spend $1 million. They will put up $1 million for that movie to be played the minute it comes out. So let's say they get $40 million in money from these movie theaters. They use that money to run ads. And this is the other thing you need to think about. The more money those movie theaters give them to run ads, the more money comes back in, because the more people see the ads and the more people go and see the movie. Now, when we talk about an auction, how this works is very simple. All they're doing is they're putting up money in advance. They're pledging $1 million. They're putting up the money and they're giving up the money. But what they do is they do get the money back though. So I'm a movie theater owner and I want this movie in my theaters on January 15th. I bid $1 million on that movie and I give them $1 million. Remember what we talked about? There was a split. There was a split on the money. You get half that, the theater gets half the money and the industry gets the other half the money. How this actually works though on the auction is that the theater who put up the $1 million, they get their $1 million back. That money comes back before they start splitting revenue. So on the first $1 million in revenue, they've got all of their money back. And if they do $5 million in revenue after that, they're splitting the $5 million. And so the movie industry is not spending millions of dollars to run ads on something that's unproven. They're spending money on ads based on something that's proven. Now, what happens? Let's say they get $50 million from the movie theaters. They run ads and the movie is a bomb. Well, what they do is they quit running ads to it. They continue to show it in theaters and it gets rolled out everywhere. And so they eventually all get most of their money back for the most part. And sometimes they lose money. But what you want to think about is they're not running ads to something that's not working. And then this is the other thing. So do you see when they say the movie did, 40 million at the box office or 50 million at the box office or 60 million at the box office the first weekend? The movie theaters get the money back they spent on the auction. Then they split the rest of the revenue. And then the movie industry spends all of that money that came in on ads to continue to promote. If they've got a winner, they spend a lot of money promoting it. And that's what you're going to do. And that's the reason the proof of concept, which we're going to talk about now, is so important. So proof of concept is vitally important if you're going to make any money. And it's two things. And you've got to get this. So you've got to get this before you can scale. Number one, you have something that people are willing to give their money for. So you put something out to the marketplace and people were willing to buy it. Number two, you have the ability to sell it. And so you have to create an offer that's compelling, that causes people to buy, and people have to buy it. So your proof of concept is two things. One, you can sell it, and two, people have demonstrated they're willing to buy it. And what happens, we create our vehicle, we build an audience on Facebook or YouTube or a Facebook group or somewhere, and then we make an offer to that group of people. And those people either A, buy it or they don't. And if they don't buy it, you need to fix this. You do not launch until you have a proof of concept. You do not run ads until you have a proof of concept. And the proof of concept is that you have a funnel that works. You have a product that's commercial that people are willing to pay for. What most people want to do, they want to create something, jump into the marketplace, spend some money on ads and get rich. The likelihood of that happening is very, very low. And this is the thing. You can have a winner. You could possibly have a winner, but there's no way to know. And then the other thing is you're probably going to spend 25 or 30 or 40,000 to get the ad optimized and get the funnel optimized, because you don't have the proof of concept yet. So you're going to continue to tweak it. See what happens when you put the offer in front of a group of people. and they don't respond immediately, you tweak the offer and you put it out again and you tweak it and you keep doing that. And eventually you have an offer that's working really, really, really well. And once you have an offer that's working really, really well, then what we do is we do like the movie theater industry. We take X amount of dollars and we start running traffic. We spend all of that money on traffic. And then what we do is every month, as money, more and more and more money comes in, we spend more and more and more money on traffic. And what Sam Ovens calls this the flywheel, I think. I think it's a version of the flywheel where you're basically spending more and more money on ads. The wheel is getting bigger because each month you're bringing in more revenue because you're spending more money. And ultimately, that's how you create massive wealth. What you don't do is you don't spend $10,000 on ads and bring in 30,000 and waste $20,000 and then spend $10,000 more on ads. You don't do that. But I want you to think about that. And so when you're thinking about all of this, and we're going to just walk you through this now, you develop $1 million mindset. You're going to do everything that you need to do in order to make the money. You change your lifestyle. You become completely obsessed with this thing. You spend all of your hours on it. You change your routine as much as you can. You get your vehicle, your audience and offer right. You understand the money math. You know exactly how much you need to spend. I mean, exactly how many buyers you need in order to make the money. And then what you do is you get your proof of concept, which is you start making offers to these people. And once you have a proof of concept where people are buying, what you can do now is you can scale that offer to that group of people. You can bring in $10, $15, $20, $25,000, and then take that money and then you can run it into ads. And that's when you get the airplane off the ground. But you need the runway, and the runway comes from that audience that you're building. And so in order to do all of this, you are going to need to confront your fears. You're just going to need to stare down anything that's preventing you from moving forward, and you need to get rid of it. And that's what we're going to talk about in part 2 of developing $1 million mindset. And so I hope y'all got some value from this today. And I really wanted you to understand this path. And I can tell you, if you have a lot of fears, I get that because everybody does. But I can tell you, if you develop the $1 million mindset, you focus on your vehicle, audience, and offer, you understand exactly how many buyers it's going to take to get to the money. You focus on the proof of concept, and you're only focused on these things, you're going to probably develop a winner, and you're going to get something to scale. The fear sets in when you take your eyes off the goal. The goal's $1 million. What are the steps that we need to take to get to the $1 million? How much runway do we need? How much energy does this rocket need to get off the ground? And like I said, the great thing about a lot of this is that you're not doing this for 50 years. You're doing this for, it's going to vary for everyone. For some of you, it's going to take a month. For some of you, it's going to take 120 days. Some of you 180 days, some of you a year, because what it is some of you aren't going to spend all the energy just focusing on all this stuff. And that's what you're going to need to do. And if you do that, in my opinion, anyone who focuses on this and they create a commercial offer can build $1 million brand. I do believe that, but we're going to end out. We will see you on day 10, and thanks a lot.